carrying this tradition that does come from a cultural place. But being a bridge, I also know that you teach at Spirit Weavers. You have performances, in a lot of areas, and, you're working with Westerners, and you're,
Yes.
is that a part of maybe your purpose in keeping this tradition alive? How do you see yourself as a bridge? And maybe even, does it sometimes bring you pause, around the cultural tradition and passing it on?
There is definitely challenge. There's challenge teaching the ways of the hula. And we teach them. We just teach them diligently. We go through protocol. I teach exactly what I have been taught. And that is how we continue. And also, as being in leadership, we take on that responsibility of making sure that the integrity of your schools, the halau, the teachings are always right, our pono. We may have mistakes and we go back and resolve it, but it's okay. There is a growth there, and there's always growth there. So.
Yeah. And so how old do you think the hula is?
Oh my gosh. I feel that hula is, people have been dancing. I feel like it has been brought on from different countries, and just, from the Maori, from all the different Polynesian islands, really ending in Hawaii. I feel like it's a collaboration of all. So I feel in my heart that it didn't just start in Hawaii. I feel like it's a combination of different cultures to what it has developed today. And as you see the dance today, it has really evolved,
Yeah, I was fortunate to attend. It was a full day of learning the Maori haka, the
Wow,
traditional
yes.
haka. And what I learned there is it's not something that was only performed going into battle, is kind of its most notable for. But the haka is also about honoring. It's also about, showing respect through the synchronized movements and the powerful masculine and feminine expression. And so how do you see the hula? What is the purpose of engaging in these dances and of the synchronized movements? I've seen it. It's so beautiful, but I also feel like there's a story there being
Yes,
told.
there's lots of stories, and you embody the stories. You put yourself in the location of the stories, and there's usually hidden meanings, and you represent those stories through movement without speaking. So that is with your body, with your hand gestures, but there's also more to the dance. There are stories and hidden meanings of where it's even come from. So you have to really express that in movement. So it takes a lot of effort for a dancer to express that, not just through your hands, but it has to come from your face, from your body, and really embodying what that story is about. Either if it's talking about the land, war, rain, you have to embody all those stories so the audience can understand what you're talking about. So it's definitely, where when you cannot express yourself through voice, it's very powerful to express only through movement, But then we also have our chants, where our stories and our prayers come in. So, hula it's so much bigger. It's really such a big container, It has the cultural practices. You have the spiritual practices. And then you have your classroom practices as a hula dancer, the physical part of it where you have to train. You have to work on your costuming, making costuming. So it's quite involved, and it's just not a little piece of just dance. There's so many parts to it when you do learn the hula, and it's much, much deeper.
Yeah.
But the language is where it starts also. Understanding the language, the stories, visiting these places, seeing where it actually happened. It's so important to do your studies that way also.